This is Radio Wimborne.
This is Radio Wimborne. You're listening to Kelly Webb, and I've now got, from Blue Moon Productions, I've got Debbie Wally and Neil Mitchener. Sorry, stumbling over your name there. Neil Mitchener. Hello, thank you for coming in.
Hello, Kelly. Good to be here. Thank you.
Debbie.
Hello, Kelly. Good to be here. Thank you very much.
And we've got a little secret about Debbie as well, haven't we?
Yes, we have. I will be working live on the radio station on Thursday lunchtimes. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Debbie will be with us very soon, but we're going to get you in and we're going to talk all about you and Radio Wimborne another time.
Yes.
Today you're here to talk about Blue Moon Productions. So we're not going to overshadow that, but you will hear Debbie's voice again.
Most definitely. Exciting.
Right, okay. Blue Moon Productions. I kind of hinted to people earlier on when I said that you were coming in what it might be a little bit about by saying it's theatrical. But that's a short answer. Can you tell us what is Blue Moon Productions?
Well, Blue Moon Productions is a very amateur group which I started just a few years ago to do a few local shows to get people, some that have never been on stage before, give them the chance to perform on stage. So although we are amateur, they are good shows, and we put them on mainly in the Allendale Centre right here.
Yeah, so, well, we're often promoting shows that go on in the Allendale Centre because, of course, we're based here ourselves. So what are your roles? Do you have a job title?
Yes, well, I'm the founder of Blue Moon Productions, so I'm the chairman, and I produce and or direct.
So you've got
show.
everything in your title
I'm
then.
a bit of a bossy boots, yeah.
And what about you, Debbie? What's your title there?
My title is the assistant producer, and I'm the one who makes sure everything's ticking along nicely and also give Neil a kick up the backside when he's not listening.
When he doesn't. Well, they say behind every good man is a good woman.
Oh, most definitely.
So in terms of your roles, we know yours involves some kicking, Debbie. Neil, so your role is just a bit of everything, or do you say, well, I'm a director for this particular set of hours when I'm doing that, I'm the producer when? How does your role pan out?
It's always producing, so I get everything together for everyone else, helped by Debbie. And then some shows I will direct as well, depending on what the show is and so on.
Is there real skill to being a director?
There is, to a point, yeah. Without being sort of over enthusiastic, you've got to be there and tell them don't do this and don't do that and come on stage left, stage right to get the timings right.
Yeah.
So you've got to be pretty firm.
And you have to have some vision, I guess, of how you imagine that this scene should look to give direction.
Oh, indeed, yeah. There's always a plan. I either write it down, do sketches. So I'm working to the plans that I've done and thoughts that come into my head as we're going along. And yes, you're quite right. You've got to have a basic plan of what you want to see and when you want it to happen.
Well, of course, we're experts at this because Radio Wimborne have just had our film premiere of our first promotional film.
Which is fantastic. I've seen it on Facebook.
We had our Malcolm did a storyboard. He's very good at drawing, so he's able to do all of that. And then we had someone to do the direction, but it all came out of Malcolm's head. So we've been going through this whole process.
Very interesting
it's only
chap,
about
Malcolm.
2 or 3 minutes. Yes, because, of course, you know each other, don't
Yeah,
you? Go back a long way.
My years at the Tivoli backstage, which is really where I know or learned everything I know now, under the stage management of Ashley Thorne, who was there for many years, sadly deceased now, but he was very, very good to work with. And Malcolm, that's why I met Malcolm, who was very instrumental in getting the Tivoli reopened again.
Yes, of course he was. Yeah, he is very coy about all of that. But yeah, it was a massive achievement. So where did all this love of theatre, film, all of that start for you now?
Well, from a very young age, school, I did a couple of plays, shows at school. But even as a real youngster, if I was taken to the theatre or to the cinema, I was more interested on how things were working. Looking at which projector was working for which part of the film.
So the real technical side of it.
Yes, yeah, and watching the stage crew and the scenery and trying to work out how they did things and so on. And usually I would try and get at some point backstage on that show to see how it did work.
Right. Tell me how that worked. How do you move that curtain?
Exactly, yeah.
And what about you, Debbie? How did you get into theatre?
Well, mine started from a very early age. I used to love singing, and when I was about 8, I used to sing Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights in my street, and my neighbours used to sit on the wall and listen to me. I bet they loved that. They did. I'm actually singing that song in our Spooky Fight show, which is exciting. But also at school, I was always in theatre productions and also singing in the choir, which continues right into adult life. And I've recently passed my grade 8 singing exam last last year with a merit, which is really exciting. I've studied opera for the past 5 years in operatic choirs and done many theatre productions, also done some modelling and some acting as well, and embarking on a new pathway, being extras in films and doing some acting also, which is really exciting.
So you've really gone into it in a big way.
So I've really gone into it in a massive big way, but I love also being assistant producer because I've got a very good eye for detail and, you know, I just love it. I love entertaining people and singing to people and seeing everybody smile when they come and see our productions.
So you must be, it's amazing actually. I've interviewed quite a few people from different backgrounds on this show, and some of them are in sort of theatre or production, something where they have to do stuff in front of lots of people. They come in here and they're really nervous about being in the radio studio.
I can understand that one.
But I just, I mean, I get it, of course, but I don't get how you can do the stage and the singing in front of people.
I think it's because you step into character. So 9 times out of 10, when you are on that stage, you're stepping into that character and singing their song. So it's not really you. You are that character, that main role. And it is nerve-wracking, but it's really exciting when you take that centre stage and all eyes are on you and your heart is beating fast, but you're also excited with the anticipation of everybody else and all eyes on you, wondering what you're going to sound like. So that is really exciting. And just be able to sing to people and bring tears to their eyes and help them to heal and to laugh and to smile. And just to enlighten them and entertain them, to be honest. I find it exciting.
Some
it's
of
never
that,
a dull moment.
That stuff that you were talking about in early days. See, I used to be in the choir and I used to do stage productions when I was at school. And I was officially going to grow up to be a famous actress. That was going to be my role. So I didn't need to worry too much about school and all of that jazz, because this is what I was going to do. And then when I was about 15, I think we had this careers seminar at school. I always tell this story. And the guy said, you know, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And I'm like, hands in the air, choose me. And he did choose me, unfortunately. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be a famous actress. And he said, well, do you know, statistically, you stand more chance of being struck by lightning. And that dashed my entire future in about 2 seconds. And I thought, is it too late to concentrate a bit more on schoolwork?
So you've been standing in thunderstorms ever since, have you?
Well, I was just kind of thinking, well, why didn't anybody mention that before? Because perhaps I ought to have done something else. But it's funny how things turn out.
But just leading on from what Debbie was saying, and when you said about, you know, the nerves going on stage, and I too have often spoken to actors, actresses going on stage to do a pantomime role, and they're pacing up and down, nervous, last minute look at scripts, and they're sweating and going on. And I said, how do you do it? And exactly so, as soon as they step on that stage, they are hiding behind the character then.
Yeah, it's a mask, isn't it? Yeah. Well, no, I get that. I do understand that. But I still think I'd be a little bit... Well, the ones that I did do, when I did an amateur production of something, and I just thought I was going to faint of nerves before I went on stage. But I did manage to get it out. For me, it's about not having anybody I know in the audience.
Yes, but again, it does
encourage you. It's okay.
It does encourage you. But I think the most important thing is you never give up. You pick yourself up, you dust yourself down. Because unfortunately, there is a lot of rejection involved as well.
I bet,
so it's, you know, sheer determination to succeed and get where you need to be. And every time you learn valuable lessons. Yeah. And you also gain confidence and clarity too.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, Neil, how you first got involved in production. Did you just go to the Tivoli one day and say, well, I'm not going until you give me a chance to get behind there?
Not quite as forceful as that. I was back in 1993, I think it was, not long after the Tivoli had reopened. And I was walking along and saw a notice in the window, stage crew required for up-and-coming pantomime.
And did it flash at you? Was it like a dream come true? Like the golden ticket in Willy Wonka? You just thought, this is my chance?
Something like that. And doing shows over there, and some of them are like 2 or 3 week runs. And driving buses, I had to change for all early turns. So
this is the day job, driving buses?
Yeah, day job, yeah. So changing for early turns, and sometimes feeling quite tired on the way to the theatre and thinking, I don't want to do this tonight. But as soon as you step foot in a theatre like the Allendale, the buzz is just there. Amazing, yeah.
So it just gives you that energy. Well, that's what happens when you get into something you really love. So this was how you started.
Yeah, Tivoli, 1993, I think it was, and stayed there doing different shows for about 15, 16 years or so.
And that's mainly at Tivoli, Allendale, any other theatres?
Allendale here, I did a few pantomimes. The Barrington in Ferndown, and a couple of theatres in Bournemouth, the Bic and the Pavilion.
Oh gosh, some of the big hitters then.
Yeah, I did a show there one year with John Inman. I'm Free.
Yeah.
And we were saying just now, he was just the same. Before the curtain went up, he was pacing up and down, really nervous, really, really nervous. And then the curtains open, lights go on, and away they go.
Yeah.
So I did a few shows down in Bournemouth and the Lighthouse in Poole as well.
So you've been around a bit.
Yeah.
So how did you end up recruiting Debbie?
Well, we did Old Time Music Hall last year at the Allendale here, and I put adverts out the year before asking for cast crew to come along, let me know if they wanted to be in it. And Debbie was one of the ones that contacted me directly. And then we first met January 2014 over the road in the King's Head there, along with her mum and another cast member as well. So it all started from there with Debbie.
And a beautiful partnership was
It certainly was
created.
The spooky thing was, Kelly, when I first met Neil that year, I was due to have major back surgery and 3 operations on my shoulder. And Neil said to me, "Sure, you're going to be up for getting on that stage?" And I said, "Nothing's going to stop me." And I was determined to get on that stage, and I did. And
you weren't doing ballet?
No, I weren't doing ballet. I did a little bit of dancing afterwards and singing. But I think Neil, obviously then saw my sheer drive and determination, and also the fact I never give up as well. I'm a very determined young lady.
Yeah.
And having done a bit of first aid, I thought I could offer to do it. But she declined.
So, well, I can understand that. I understand you're married.
Yes, I am married with 2 teenage children.
So you did all of this backstage stuff, all of this volunteering stuff. At what point, Neil, did you say, well, I need to create my own company? Where did that start?
That was during the last bits of Tivoli, and Ashley Thorne was back to me and said, you should do your own shows, So I thought, I'm going to have a go at that. So 2003, we did a pantomime, Robin Hood, at the Woodlands Hall in Parkstone. That went down very well, and that was my production, and produced and directed that one.
So when you say you produced and directed and everything, does that mean you have to find the scripts, find the people, get the costume designer or the costumes? You have to create all of it? Pretty much, or
designate. I find the people and the venues and get the musicians in and so on, to get it all together. And direct, of course, as you know, it's just there on the stage, you're telling people what to do and when to do it. It's just quite a time-consuming role.
I bet.
But once we're up and running, I can designate, like Debbie helps me, and being assistant producer, and try and designate a few jobs like the posters and that are designed by another lady we've got, Tina, and she does a good job of those. So it's a bit easier this time round rather than when I first started.
Well, just doing it on your own.
Yeah.
It helps to have a good team, doesn't it?
We certainly have. We're all very close and, communicate with each other as well. We do delegate, and I'm really good at promoting the shows and also bringing a new cast as well, which we will be recruiting new cast, and we do need some helpers to help backstage. So if there's any listeners out there that would really love to be part of our team and get on board, then contact us, please, either on Facebook or on the internet, Blue Moon Productions.
Okay, well, that could be a dream come true for somebody else, couldn't it?
Indeed,
somebody just like you in 1993, seeing that flashing poster,
Indeed.
backstage crew, how fantastic. So you're doing shows right here in the Allendale Centre. Is there anything coming up soon you can tell us about?
Yes, in the end of October 31st, which is Halloween night, we're doing a Halloween-based show called Spooky Fright Night.
And you've started the prep for that already?
Yeah, we're already rehearsing.
That seems a long way off for us, but for you, you've got to put this whole thing together.
We start prepping, to be honest, Kelly, after Christmas to get organised and choosing the songs. I mean, I will actually be singing 2 songs. I'm going to be singing I Put a Spell on You by Annie Lennox, and also Wuthering Heights, of course, which is quite exciting to be able to sing that live on stage.
Gosh.
And also our shows here, including the Spooky Fright Night, 31st of October, 2 shows, 2 one-hour shows, 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And they will be cabaret style, where people can just sit at a table and get drinks from the bar and so on.
That's unusual, isn't it? You don't see that much.
No, but that again was a love I thought of many years ago, where people can enjoy it a bit more, and they're more likely to join in if they've had a couple of drinks or so.
Yeah.
And they can relax more. So
well, that's
what
it,
I like
because
to do.
theatre style it feels very formal.
It does.
And I know I think it was in America, and I was in a place where there was tables, and you still see it on telly in sort of old movies. You think, why don't they do that anymore?
And it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you say, it's more relaxed, and people enjoy it more. Initially, we did do that with Old Time Musical, but we've also got Festive Frolics coming up on the 13th of December, and we will be redoing Old Time Musical next year. Where we will obviously need some new cast to come on board also.
Do you find, though, with that informal round tables and chairs, that kind of thing, that people might like talk a little bit when you're performing, and that would really annoy me?
No, not really, because I did think about running the bar all the way through the show, but for that very reason, it was just the bar would be open at the start of the show and the interval and at the end, because you naturally get a few people at the bar, and that's when the chatter starts.
Yes.
And if they're not particularly interested in an act, then they'll start chatting at the bar. So we just have the bar open. They can get a couple of drinks to last them through each act of the show.
Right, it's going to start in a minute. Go and get your drinks.
And to be honest, Kelly, once we start singing, all eyes are on us anyway.
Yes.
So people do automatically stop talking.
So this type of show, this isn't a theatrical show. This is more about people just coming on and doing a song and going off, somebody else coming on. Is that right?
I mean, there is going to be singing and dancing, and also we do have the Fright Night in Wimborne that particular night, so it's going to be linked with the Fright Night.
Oh, right, okay.
In between the Fright Night walk. So there's going to be a lot of people in Wimborne anyway.
That's what the young people do, isn't
the young
it?
people do.
There's
they all
one
dress
lady
up,
there's
a young lady that actually runs it, and it's become quite a massive thing in Wimborne. So we thought to tie in the show with the Fright Night, we'll bring in obviously a bigger audience, and they do obviously get ready here at the Allendale, so they can support us with any makeup.
Oh, so
and
there's
hair
a link there.
and costumes.
That's
So that's where the link is going to be, but also promoting also. So it should be a really good night, all families welcome and children. There's also going to be a raffle also, and the money does go to charity. The proceeds will be going to Wimborne Hospital,
the best
which is
of
a good
all
worthy
worlds,
cause.
Yeah. That's really good. Well, obviously you're going to be working really hard on this. For us, we have got the summer to get through yet, so we're not even thinking about the 31st of October.
Well, as Debbie was saying, we usually start 5 or 6 months before a show.
Well, I can understand why you'd have to.
It's all of the prepping and learning
but
the songs as well.
You must get in touch with, obviously, Debbie, you're joining our team anyway, so you're not going to let us forget. But sometimes people, we get an awful lot of press releases and information about events, and really we need a few weeks in advance so that we can start to tell people, you've got 5 weeks before the show, get your tickets. Otherwise now they won't remember till October. But you're going to be with us anyway.
Yes, most
so
definitely.
you can
really
remind
looking
us,
forward to it.
and we will let people know.
That'll be lovely.
That sounds like it could be something really special.
It'd be
I'm
a
quite
real
interested
good,
to come to that.
fun show, and you definitely enjoy it as well. We've got some amazing songs, and it will be, pure entertainment for everybody.
Excellent.
And just bear a thought for me while everyone's enjoying the show. I'm up in the box, up in the loft at the back of the theatre with headphones
not so much fun.
and microphones on, cueing everybody, sound and stand by this and stand by that. So I've got and I'm following my worksheet. And it usually goes to plan, but occasionally not, and that's when the panic sets in.
Well, I suppose with amateur productions, it's like us here on Radio Wimborne. We must make mistakes from time to time, and I think people just see when they're looking or listening to a community project, these are real people that live in your neighbourhood, and you've got to be a bit forgiving, haven't you?
Well,
so
usually the audience,
as long as you don't fall out the attic, I think you should be all right.
Not quite, no. Usually the audience don't notice. But we do, because we know what it's supposed to be, and sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. It was a red light, not a green light, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
No one notices except you.
The show must go on, like they always say.
Yeah.
Don't they?
So, okay, one of the key messages, obviously, we want to promote your shows at the time. If people don't remember, we would definitely tell them about 31st of October. But for now, just remind us the sorts of people you would like to get in touch with you in terms of people volunteering to help you. Tell us what roles you're after.
Well, we're after backstage crew, to help move scenery, and then the runners. The runner would go between dressing rooms and stage,
telling people you're on in a minute, that kind of
thing, and things like that. So the next 2 shows were okay for cast, but we do need some crew front of house and people like that.
Front of house would be what, like people for tickets,
Yes,
that kind of thing?
tickets on the door, checking
there's
tickets on the
table.
door.
And guiding people to their seats.
Show them
also.
to the table and so on, yeah.
Right.
And then next year, obviously, with the Old Time Variety Musical, we do need some new cast coming on board. So if people would like to get in contact now, because we are prepping ready for next year, because you do have to obviously get organised a year ahead before the next shows.
So you mentioned Facebook. How can they find you on Facebook?
Under Blue Moon Productions. We've actually got our own page there, and also Neil's email address.
Yes, yeah. Would you like that?
Yes, read that out to us.
neil.mitch@yahoo.co.uk.
Now that's quite straightforward, but if you didn't catch that, you can always email us here at Radio Wimborne and we will pass on the message to Neil and Debbie if you're interested in any of that.
Or, of course, anyone that's not really into computers, you can just come along to the Allendale, just leave your name and contact details in the office.
Absolutely. The
So
receptionists
that's
out there
another
will be
way
happy to do that.
Yeah.
Or they can contact me via my email address, which is debbiefennella@gmail.com. Fennella spelt Fennella.
I bet you're spelling that all the time, Debbie. Right, okay. Well, thanks ever so much for coming in.
Thank
we will
you.
definitely... This feels like one of the best kept secrets of Wimborne because I'd never heard of you until you got in touch,
It is
Neil.
quite a fresh name, really, so people won't have heard of it that much.
Okay, it's a bit of a rebrand you've gone through, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Up and coming.
And also, of course, we're on the Allendale website. Our shows are on there, so you can buy tickets on the internet for
From now
all
on.
our shows. And they're going on quite shortly, I believe.
Okay, that's all good. Right, well, we'll definitely keep it in the listeners' view.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. I
Thank
really
you, Kelly.
enjoyed it.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Want to get in touch with the show? Then just email us at livedj@radiowimborne.co.uk.